Friends, welcome to our today's session. Today we will be learning how to compute capital gain. You have already understood what is capital asset and what is long-term capital gain, what is short-term capital gain. And briefly also I had told you how to compute that capital gain. Right, briefly we have understood. Today we'll go in detail. So we know there is something called as full value of consideration. First, we need to arrive at that figure, and from that full value of consideration, whatever expenditure is incurred or transfer, that has to be deducted. Right? We'll be getting net consideration. Then from net consideration, again, two deductions. One is cost of acquisition, and other one is cost of improvement. This thing has to be deducted to compute capital gain, and that capital gain may be subjected to some exemptions. We'll see if some exemptions are allowed. Then accordingly capital gain will be reduced, or capital gain, it will have impact in reduction of tax. And in case of long-term capital gains, then you have to make one more adjustment. Instead of cost of acquisition, you have to take indexed cost of acquisition. And in case of cost of improvement, you have to take indexed cost of improvement. So that is the concept in the last session. Very briefly, I had told you. Right. So today, that is the thing we are going to learn. Let me share the screen with you first of all. Yeah, so mode of computation of capital gain, and as you can see, the related section is which section we are going to learn today.
Section 48.
Yes, section 48 we'll be learning, and yeah, some related things on the after that we'll be also learning. So let me first go into section 48, then we'll see. So as we usually do, every time we'll see how section 48 looks like. So for that thing, we have to visit to the income tax department's website. Right. So let me take you to income tax department's website right now. Let us have a look. Then we'll be learning the provisions. Now I think all of you are must be comfortable in finding out relevant sections in the income tax department website, and also you must be comfortable in using the tax calculator which I had shown you in your initial classes. So I'm taking you to Income Tax Act right now, and we will be visiting section 48. Now you can see, as it is written here, the title of the section is mode of computation. Up to 47, we have already covered in our earlier sessions. 47 talks about transactions which are not regarded as transfer. Now you see section 48. Capital gain shall be computed by deducting from the full value of consideration. So it is important here to understand what is the full value of consideration. From this amount, you have to deduct something. Okay. And this consideration, whether received or accruing, that means it might have been received or it is receivable. As a result of transfer of capital asset, the following amount, meaning the following amount shall be deducted. Point 1, expenditure incurred wholly and exclusively in connection with such transfer. And point 2, the cost of acquisition of the sale of cost of acquisition of the asset and the cost of improvement there. That means cost of acquisition and cost of improvement. These are the things which are to be deducted. Okay. Now, in detail, you see some other provisions are there, provided further that all these things you see. The cost of acquisition shall be substituted by indexed cost of acquisition. This is in case of long-term capital gain. These provisions are also there. Yeah, and we'll be learning about 112A, 112, 111, 111, 111A, 112, 112A. We might have to learn which deals with rates of taxes. That also we'll be learning. Okay. So there is a concept of indexed bond. So these things, all these things you'll be learning in connection with section 48. Right. So I think you have an idea right now. And now I'll be showing you the slides. Now, as you can see, income chargeable under the head capital gain shall be computed by deducting the following items, the full value of consideration. So full value of consideration, right now you understand the amount which is received or accruing to the receipt. That means it is receivable, it is due. Both the things can be considered as full value of consideration. Okay, so what are the things which are deducted? Point A, expenditure which is wholly or exclusively in connection with such transfer. Let us say you are transferring a piece of land, and for transferring that thing, you are paying a commission. That commission you are paying wholly and exclusively in connection with transfer. So let us say you are receiving 5 lakh and 50,000 rupees you are giving commission. So 5 lakh minus 50,000 rupees. So 4 lakh 50,000 rupees is your, you can say, net consideration. Full value of consideration is 5 lakh minus expenditure which is incurred wholly and exclusively in connection with the transfer is 50,000. So as a result, the net consideration will be 4 lakh 50,000. Are you getting me? Are you getting me? Can you say yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, that is one thing that will be done. Second thing, cost of acquisition. Let us assume that land you had purchased before 5 years for 2 lakh rupees. So cost of acquisition at 2 lakh rupees. So 2 lakh rupees has to be deducted. And cost of improvement. Let us say you have developed that land. You have constructed boundary wall and you have, let us say, done sand filling. So you have spent another 1 lakh. So that also has to be deducted. Is it done? Now, how to arrive capital gain? You see, full value of consideration is how much? 5 lakh rupees. Minus expenditure wholly and exclusively in connection with transfer. How much? 50,000 rupees. So now net consideration is 4 lakh 50,000 rupees. Are you getting me? Minus cost of acquisition, again 2 lakh rupees. And cost of improvement, how much? 50,000 rupees. Okay. So now how much money finally, what is the final capital gain? Can you calculate and tell me? Can you calculate? Or should I show you? Well, don't worry, I am showing you right now. That understanding is required. Yeah. Now you see. What I'm saying you, full value of consideration. How much? Are you able to see it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
In our example, I told you 5 lakh. Okay, this is a full value of consideration. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, then what we'll do? We have to deduct. What is to be deducted? Expenses wholly or exclusively exclusively for transfer. Okay, how much is that? 50,000. Then what is the net consideration? Can you tell me? How much is the net consideration?
4,50,000.
Yes, very good. So we'll arrive it here. Minus equal to this figure minus this figure, 4,50,000. Okay. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
4,50,000. But thereafter, two more deductions. What is this? From the net consideration, let us say this is my net consideration. Net consideration figure is there. Okay, from this net consideration, there are two deductions. Can you tell me what are they? What are those considerations? Who can tell me? From net consideration, what has to be deducted? One is our cost of acquisition. Okay, cost of acquisition, how much? Let us say 2 lakh is my cost of acquisition. The next thing is cost of improvement. Cost of improvement. Let us say 50,000. Okay, are you getting it? Now, total how much is to be deducted? Cost of acquisition, cost of improvement, both taken together. This money has to be deducted. So this plus this. So 2,50,000 will be deducted. Okay, fine. Now, next thing is my capital gain. Now, I think you do it. Can you tell me how much is my capital gain?
2 lakh rupees.
Yes, 4,50,000 minus 2,50,000. So 2 lakh. On which I have to pay tax. Okay. Now, whether it is a long-term capital gain or short-term capital gain, it depends. You have already understood what is a long-term capital gain, what is a short-term capital gain, right? Some instances 36 months, some instances 12 months. Like this, we have understood that concept. So it may be a long-term capital gain, it may be short-term capital gain. It depends on the period of holding, right? And accordingly, the rate of tax will change. Long-term capital gain will be taxed at a different rate. Short-term capital gain will be taxed at a different rate. So you have to understand that thing. We'll be understanding that thing subsequently. So right now, my capital gain is how much? 2 lakh rupees. Okay, understood this thing. Now, in case of long-term capital gain, indexation is allowed. Indexation means, you see, the cost of acquisition is how much? 2 lakh rupees, I told you. But let us say you have acquired that land 10 years back. Are you getting me? 10 years back. But 10 years back, you have spent 2 lakh rupees. But whether the value of 2 lakh rupees is same right now?
No.
No. So real value might be more. So if you deduct only 2 lakh rupees, you'll be getting more capital gain. So therefore, the cost of acquisition and cost of improvement. Let's say improvement cost you have incurred 5 years back. 5 years back, you have spent 50,000 rupees. But today, the value of that 50,000 rupees might be 1 lakh rupees. Or might be 65,000 rupees. So what we will do, instead of deducting 2 lakh rupees or 50,000 rupees, we will be indexing it. Therefore, in case of long-term capital gain, what will happen? Instead of cost of acquisition, what will write? Indexed cost of acquisition. Indexed cost of acquisition. And what is this cost of improvement? Indexed cost of improvement. Okay. How indexation will be done? What we'll be doing? We'll be multiplying it with a factor. Okay, we'll be multiplying it with a factor. Okay, how that is to multiply? Let me first explain it quickly. But before that, let me show you the index numbers. Just a minute. After that, it will be easy for you. Let me show you a table right now. What is cost of interest? Are you seeing a table right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now you see, this table gives a number. This is called as the cost inflation index. We'll be understanding that thing. Let us say in the year 2006-7, index number is how much? 122. Is it not? 2006-7, what is the index number?
122.
But today, in the year of transfer, let us say you are transferring in 2021. What is index number?
301.
That means what was the 122 in 6-7? That value is 301 today. So let us say you have acquired it to in the year 6-7. So what will do? You spend 2 lakh rupees, right? So 2 lakh divided by 122 multiplied with 309. Understood? Divided by 122 multiplied with 301. Okay, so that's what we will do. Okay, so what we'll do? You remember the figures. What is index cost of acquisition will be something like this. Let us say this is cost of acquisition is 2 lakh rupees, but index cost of acquisition will be how much? 2 lakh divided by how much? 122 multiplied with 301. Now you see what is the figure we are getting? 4,93,442. Understood? That amount will be deducted. And let us say index cost of improvement. Let us think improvement is happened. Let us say you have done improvement in a different year. Let us say improvement you have done in the year 10 in 11. 10 11, what is the index number? Can you read it?
167.
So the improvement cost divided by 167 multiplied with
301.
301. So it will be indexed. Okay, divided by 167 multiplied with 301. So that's what we'll be doing. So what I'm doing now, this divided by how much? 267.
167.
167 into 301, right?
Yeah.
So 167, right?
Yes.
167 into 301. Now you see what is the amount. This is the amount. So now index, in case of long-term capital gain, what will happen? Instead of cost of acquisition and cost of improvement, what will do? Now you see what will find? It is a loss. It's no more gain. So now you are getting a tax saving. You don't have to pay any tax, there is a loss. You can carry forward this loss. Understood the concept?
Yes, sir.
So now it is not a capital gain, it is capital loss. It become negative. Okay. These two taken together, it becomes negative. Did you understand? So this is the concept. This broadly explains us how to compute capital gain. But whatever we learned right now, the same thing I'll be explaining with the help of slides. But I think this part is clear to you. Now, friends, that is what I was explaining, the provisions of section 48, what it talks about, that expenditures wholly exclusively incurred for the purpose of transfer will be deducted. Then cost of acquisition will be deducted and cost of improvement will be deducted. But there is one more provision. There is no deduction. No deduction is allowed for STT. STT stands for Securities Transaction Tax. When the listed securities are transferred, let us say shares, bonds, etc., transferred. So a security transaction tax is collected. So that may be for the purpose of transfer, but that amount will not be deducted. Specific provision that STT will not be deducted. Other costs in connection with the transfer shall be deducted, but security transaction tax will not be deducted. Okay, I think you have understood this. Okay, now you see, we need to understand what is this cost of inflation index. Cost of inflation index is relevant when we are computing long-term capital gain. Okay, because in that situation, what will happen? The cost of acquisition and cost of improvement will be increased by applying CII. We have already seen how it is increased by applying CII. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
When you apply this cost of inflation index, then what we get? We get indexed cost of acquisition and indexed cost of improvement. So in this indexed cost of acquisition and indexed cost of improvement shall be deducted from net consideration. Okay. What is indexed cost of acquisition? What is indexed cost of improvement? That has been defined in this slide. But once you have understood that example, you will be able to conveniently apply that. You see, what is the indexed cost of acquisition? It means an amount which bears to the cost of acquisition the same proportion as CII of the year in which asset is transferred. That means currently when you are transferring, bears to the CII of the first year in which asset was held by the assessee, or for the year beginning on 1st April 2001, whichever is latter. So you'll be seeing cost of inflation is index is available from the 1st April 2001. Prior to that, you cannot do indexation. You have to take the value from 1st April 2001. So either if it is previous, you have to do indexation from 1st April 2001 onwards. Okay, that concept also I will be explaining. And when coming to cost of improvement, so you have to calculate indexed cost of improvement in the same manner. But here one thing you have to keep in mind, that if any cost of improvement has been ignored prior to 1/4/2001, that has to be ignored. Cost of improvement means cost of improvement which has been incurred post 1/4/2001. On or after 1/4/2001, whatever cost of improvement is incurred, that will be taken care. That will be taken into consideration. Prior to that, if whatever has been incurred, that will not be taken into consideration. Okay. Now, if you want to know what is this cost inflation index, this is a number which is notified by the government, keeping in view or considering 75% of average rise in consumer price index, that for urban consumers, for the immediately preceding previous year to such previous years. Okay, so on year-on-year basis, what is the increase in urban consumer price index? So considering and factoring it with 75%, government notifies this cost of inflation index, and this is the number which I was showing you, I was using. As you can see, right now, CII is available for from 2001 to onwards. Okay, from 2001 to 2021. Earlier, there was some other index. 2081 onwards it was available, but right now it is available for 2001 onwards. Okay, so what was the value of let us say cost of acquisition in the year 2001? Let us say in 2001 2 it was 100. Today's value will be 3 times, roughly around 3 times, that is 301. This is the concept. So by multiplying with this number, with the factors which are generated from number, we'll be able to compute what is the indexed cost of acquisition and indexed cost of improvement. Right. So now you see formula wise, if you have seen what is cost of acquisition, what is indexed cost of acquisition? Cost of acquisition into CII of the year in which asset was transferred, divided by CII of the year in which asset was first held by the assessee, or 2001, 2002. That's the 2001, 2002 number, that is 100, whichever is latter. Okay, suppose asset is acquiring in the year 67, you have to take 67. If it is asset, if the asset is acquiring it prior to 12, then you have to take 12 number. Okay, whichever is latter. Did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
And what is indexed cost of improvement? Cost of improvement multiplied with CII of the year in which asset is transferred, divided by CII of the year in which improvement took place. And here improvement means improvement which has happened post 2001. Any improvement which has let us say cost is incurred prior to 1st April 2001 shall not be considered as cost of improvement. Okay, so this is the formula to convert cost of improvement into indexed cost of improvement. I think it's clear to you. Okay, friends. And you have to keep few points in your mind also. The benefit of indexation shall not apply to long-term capital gains arising from the transfer of bonds or debentures. Okay, long-term capital gains for bonds and debentures, you cannot index it except these two bonds. One is capital index bond, which are issued by central government. In that case, you can do indexation. And the sovereign gold bond, which is issued by RBI under sovereign gold bonds in 2015. In these two bonds, you can do indexation. Otherwise, in case of bond and debentures, you cannot do indexation. Okay, and one more thing you have to keep in mind. In case of depreciable asset, there will not be any long-term capital gain. We have discussed this thing when we are studying that chapter, depreciation and tax planning. Okay, we have separate videos for that. You can go through that. Earlier, we have discussed extensively. We discussed how to deal with depreciable asset. So, depreciable asset will always give us short-term capital gain. There cannot be any long-term capital gain or loss on account of depreciable asset. Okay, so depreciable assets are short-term assets. There will not be any indexation for depreciable assets. This point also you need to keep it in your mind. Okay, now at this stage we'll summarize the calculation of short-term capital gain and long-term capital gain. You already know what is short-term, what is long-term concept. Okay, what I showed you, same thing I am showing you. Full value of constitution, receipt or accruing we have to take that figure. Then expenditure incurred wholly and exclusively for the purpose of transport, that has to be deducted. Here you have to keep in the mind that STT will not be deducted. You are getting net sales consideration, less cost of acquisition and cost of improvement. Okay. Then we'll find out if it is short-term capital gain. So one can get exemption under section 54B and 54D. That exemption can be availed. We'll be learning what are these 54B, 54D. Then you will be getting short-term capital gain, which is chargeable to tax. You can just have a look. Okay, these exemptions will be learning separately. Now, similarly, how to compute long-term capital gain? Same thing. We have to take full value of consideration. Then expenditure incurred wholly and exclusively in connection with the transfer, but STT will be excluded. We will be getting net sales consideration. Then what you are finding? Indexed cost of acquisition and indexed cost of improvement. That has to be deducted. Indexed cost of acquisition and indexed cost of improvement. And the resulting figure will be subjected to exemption under section 54, 54B, 54D, 54EC, 54F. Okay, if assessee is eligible, he can avail this exemption, otherwise not. And the balance money will be chargeable to capital gain tax, and that is long-term capital gain tax. Just have a look. I think you are able to understand this. Okay, are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, friends, at this stage, very quickly, we'll be learning one more concept: how to arrive at this. First of all, in certain circumstances, how to arrive at the cost, right? So, you see, if you look at section 49, so it talks about various circumstances where there are different provisions to arrive at the cost in different situations. So, let me show you section 49 so you can have some idea, and then I will be explaining you these concepts. Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second for this. You see, section 49, cost with reference to certain modes of acquisition. So it is not necessary that always assessee has purchased the asset. It might have acquired, maybe by way of gift, by way of inheritance, by way of will. In that kind of situation, you see, where the capital asset becomes the property of the asset in different situations. How cost of acquisition will be computed. You see, various things are there. It's in fact a long list. I am incidentally not covering the entire list. I will be giving you some examples which is relevant for you. So some examples I'll be sharing with you right now. In that case, you have to remember this kind of situations. Right. In this situation, cost to the previous owner shall be deemed to the cost of acquisition. Whose cost? Cost to the previous owner. Cost for who is the previous owner of the property has acquired it shall be taken as cost of acquisition. And once you know the cost of acquisition, cost of improvements will be added, and finally that will be done. In which situation cost to the previous owner will be taken? You see this thing. When asset has been acquired by way of distribution, maybe by way of distribution in the event of total or partial partition of the HUF. Let's say HUF is partition and assets are distributed. In that case, let us say one of the member of the HUF got an asset. The cost of the asset will be asset cost to the previous owner. That means the price at which HUF has purchased that thing that has taken into consideration. Same also when asset is acquired by way of gift or will, you could take the previous owner's cost. When asset is acquired by succession, inheritance, or devolution, or when asset is acquired by way of liquidation of a company, or by way of transfer of a revocable or irrevocable trust, or holding company distributes assets to the subsidiary, or subsidiary company transfers asset to its 100% holding, or assets transferred from amalgamating company to amalgamated company, or asset transfer from demerged company to resulting company. Okay, or conversion of an individual's own asset into HUF's asset. In these kind of situations, right, where owner has acquired the asset through some other means, the cost to the previous owner shall be considered as the cost of acquisition. You have to keep this thing in the mind, and these things are provided in section 49. Got it? Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Now, cost of improvement. To understand the cost of improvement, quickly two things we'll be learning. If the asset is a goodwill, or it's a right to manufacture, or right to produce, or right to carry on the business, there will not be any cost of improvement. Cost of improvement will be nil in this kind of situation. Okay, goodwill cases. And for other cases, if cost of improvement has been incurred, just a minute, before 1/4/2001, we have discussed. Okay, then that will be ignored. So all cost of improvement which has incurred on or after 1/4/2001 shall be considered. And in case of long-term capital asset, that will be indexed. Right? Okay. So cost of improvement means cost of improvement incurred on or after 1/4/2001, even if the asset is acquired before 1/4/2001. Right? And in case asset is subsequently acquired on after 1/4/2001, then all cost of improvement which are incurred for addition or alteration of the asset shall be taken into consideration, and that can be indexed. Okay. And cost of improvement of the previous owner also can be taken into consideration, provided it is on or after 1/4/2001. You have to keep one more thing in the mind. Cost of improvement does not include the expenditures which are deductible under some other sources, under some other heads, like income from house property, profit and gains of business profits, and income from other sources. If some expenditures are deducted under that head, you cannot claim it as cost of improvement here. So friends, thus broadly we have covered how to compute capital gain. Okay, is it clear to you up to this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand? Okay. Friends, we'll stop here today. We'll catch up with other provisions in our next session. Thank you very much. Thanks.